The Jimmy Z Show.
I wasn't going to do this, but I figure I better because I want to make all of these thoughts about the Tea Party easy to get to and easy to pass around. So I wrote this piece. Actually, I wrote an email to a friend of mine, and then I'm turning this into a note on Facebook, a column. And I realize that most people who are involved in the Tea Party are going to disagree with me here. But I cannot urge you enough to rethink that position. Today's 2 hours of the Jimmy Z Show, that would be Tuesday, August 2nd, 2011, built themselves. The whole thing came together by itself. Usually, I have some kind of an idea of where the show is going to go, and then I start recording my show, and the whole thing falls apart. Well, I shouldn't say that. The whole thing falls together because God kind of takes over. I don't want to over-spiritualize things, but when I'm doing the Jimmy Z Show, God often designs or guides the direction of the program. So I had planned to play a little bit of Obama back in January of 2011 in the state of Arizona at the memorial for the people who died in the shooting in which Representative Gabrielle Giffords was shot in the head. So I'm going to play that, and then I would play the recording of the woman on PBS who was talking with Charles Krauthammer about whether or not the Tea Party is acting like terrorists by strapping explosives to the Capitol. It's outrageous. But then after that, the whole show ends up being about the Tea Party and the left-wing assault on the Tea Party over the past week. And I realized only after I had finished the program that the whole damn thing is about the Tea Party and the left-wing assault on the Tea Party. I have about 400 or more links to articles and videos that I will never get to on my program. I add to that pile every day. But then, when I begin doing the show, God ends up being my producer. Sure, that sounds odd to some, perhaps, and I don't like to talk about it on the show much, but I do kind of follow his lead. It's not a prayerful thing. I don't sit down and pray about it. The show just goes where the good Lord leads. One story leads to the next story, and then I do some Googling while I'm doing the show. That's one reason why my show is always pre-recorded, because I'm doing some Googling and adding stories or audio or whatever it is I'm getting into. It's like show prep on the fly. Today, I was going to talk about Biden accusing the Tea Party of being terrorists first, and then move on to something else. Then I heard Rush Limbaugh play the bit from Obama's Arizona speech where he called for civil speech. He wanted Americans to avoid violent imagery and hurtful speech. So I got some of that speech to play, and I talked about Biden, and the next thing you know, 95% of my show is about the Tea Party and the liberals and Democrats' attacks on it over the last week or so. Heavy stuff, some of it downright disgusting and horrible. I realize now, after having done the show and put it up online, 3 main things happened today during that 2 hours. One, I've ended up with quite a presentation of the American left's hissy fit response to the Tea Party power in Washington, D.C. now. All of this was their reaction over the Tea Party influence in the battle over raising the nation's debt limit. The Tea Party was in fact very effective against the liberals' desire to increase taxes, against their desire to spend like crazy, and against their desire to raise the debt limit any old time they want to without having anyone interfere. This is why Nancy Pelosi has been saying things that make her sound insane. She talked about a Satan sandwich and Satan fries, and she talked about saving the world as we know it today from Republicans and from the Tea Party, apparently. I really think that the devil is involved in all of this battle for the future of our nation, and probably he's working very closely with some people like Pelosi. The second thing I noticed about the show is that I also provided today a detailed and dramatic document of the coming 2012 election campaign assault on the Tea Party. Understand, this is just the beginning. On my show today, you hear Democrat politicians, the left-wing television media pundits, and a writer at the New York Times all go cuckoo, attacking the Tea Party relentlessly as terrorists who want to blow up the American economy. They have only just started. This campaign against the Tea Party will grow into something uglier than anyone can imagine right now. The Tea Party took Democrats by surprise last time in the 2010 election. This time, the left is loaded for bear. Third, after putting the show up online, I realized once again that the Tea Party, in its current ragtag form, disjointed, disorganized, and stubborn, will get its collective clock cleaned by these organized and well-rehearsed assaults by the above-mentioned liberal triumvirate unless the Tea Party gets organized well and quickly. There must be a national organization, simple in form and function, but able to guide the whole. We do not have time to fart around with this. The liberals are going to come at us hard and with fury. Our side has to be ready to respond and also prepared to attack. Think of it this way. It would be as if the liberals were the world champion Green Bay Packers and the Tea Party just got together some people with little experience and tried to put together a football team. And some people showed up with shoulder pads, and other people had some uniforms, and a few people had some cleats. But other people were wearing T-shirts and swim trunks, and some were wearing flip-flops, and everybody had a different playbook. Who do you think is going to win? I urge you to listen to the entire show today, the Jimmy Z Tuesday show for August 2nd, 2011. This one is very, very important. Thanks for listening. I am Jimmy Z, hated by the left for all the right reasons. My website is thejimmyzshow.com. Hey, it's time to catch some Z.
The Jimmy Z Show.